There we go.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Minute. It's great here on a Saturday night. It's not Wednesday night no more. This was a long week, though, so, you can't really blame me every day going in there together. Tonight, we are joined by the one, the only, the Vic. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
And we are joined by special guest, Dragon Viper. Say what's up.
What's up?
And then, of course, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ace from the West Coast.
What's going on, everybody? I've been looking forward to this all day. Fantastic day of college football.
And, of course, I have to say that one more thing I want to say is that we have, not on camera, but does an awesome job for us, we have our producer, the one, the only, Nate. And we thank you, Nate, very much for everything you do for the network and for the show. So before we get started on the show tonight, we're going to remind you that the show is brought to you by Suzanne's Bling, the paparazzi accessories that she has. It's $5 jewelry, all products let a nickel free. There's 24/7 shopping available. Her personal phone number is 541-294-5218. That's out in the Oregon, the 541 area. And you got paparazziaccessories.com, the code 160920. Now, after that one, we also got another thing. Let me ask you a question, Dragon Viper. How will we tell these great folks how they can get a great shirt, a free shirt at that?
You want to make a lot of comments.
Free?
I said free. Said free. And how we do free? Yes, how we do free here is you comment, you like the page, you're here, your name goes in a drawing, and you become, when you win this, the fan of the month, the one with the most comments, the most likes, the most shares. That's how you do this. All right. So we got that one out of the way on the free. Now, if you don't win one of these free, Vic, how would you get one of these, you ask? Is that your question? How would you get one of these?
How did you know that was my question?
I knew that was your question. So what you're going to do is you're going to contact somebody at All Sports All Plays on the Facebook page, or we are also now on Twitter, or you're going to get a hold of us on Instagram. See, we're on all those things. And it's going to be $25. Yes, I said $25. Plus shipping and handling. What a great deal. Am I wrong, guys?
That's a fantastic
No,
deal. I'll tell you what,
Oh, it's an awesome deal.
when these things first came out, I got one immediately. I had to have them. I was like, man, these are awesome. I got to get me one. I got it. And so as you see, when we were talking about the free shirt, look who just commented again. Brandon Herrera.
Herrera, man. I got to tell you, last day of the month. Last day of the month. You guys want to get in ahead of Brandon, you got to get on there tonight. Tonight is the night. After tonight, we will have a fan of the month.
Because I'll tell you what, Brandon Herrera right now is doing a fantastic job with commenting on the shows. He comments night in and night out. He watches every show. He's an excellent fan. Thank you, Brandon Herrera. We look forward to seeing you on the show every night. So thank you. All right, J-Mac, it's all you, buddy.
All right. So, hey, guys, why don't we start off tonight talking about the top 25 in college football? And let me ask you a few questions about that. So we're kind of going to go roundtable style tonight, a little different than we normally do. It's usually just Ace and I talking about this, but tonight we're going to do that a little different. We're going to go roundtable style. So I'm going to shoot it to you. You're going to say a thing or two about the game, if you watched it, how you thought it went, and then we're going to go to Ace, and he's going to do Ace's game balls for the night, for each game. So let's start out with the number one team in the country, shall we? Now, they were losing at halftime. I don't know if you guys – did any of you watch this game? Vic, did you see any of this game, the Clemson game?
I watched the bad boy. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so, they looked horrible by halftime. Am I wrong?
You are not incorrect.
They looked terrible at halftime, but, hey, they shut out Boston College in the second half, and ended up winning 34-28. They were down 28-10 at halftime, 24-0 in the second half from Clemson, and that's with the backup quarterback. We all know Trevor Lawrence isn't playing. So, was that an exciting game to watch in the second half? Watch them come on that comeback.
It was quite exciting. I liked the first half because I kind of like the Cinderella story. I like the number one getting beaten, except when it's these guys. But I mean, the second half was just they showed why they're number one. Their defense stepped up. They didn't turn the ball over because the first half they got in their own way. They did it to themselves. But they made adjustments at halftime and came out ready to ball.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Randy, how about you? What do you think? You think that this team is good enough to keep that number one spot?
I think
it is. I think they're doing a really good job this year.
Okay.
I'm lagging real bad.
Ace, we're gonna go to you. We're going to ask you analyze the game a little bit and give us who you got the game ball.
So, first off, before we go to that, I will go to what Brandon Herrera is asking, and he's saying, could that cost them the top spot? And right now, I'll tell you, this is why I don't believe it will cost them the top spot. Number one, Trevor Lawrence was out in this game. So that obviously was going to hurt them regardless because he's out. Boston College was 4-2 going into this game. So they weren't a terrible team by any means. Now, the first half, Clemson did struggle. The defense stepped it up in the second half, shut them out. Clemson was able to come back and win this game. So when you look at the game ball, and I really don't want to butcher this guy's name, and I'm sorry if I do, but it was DJ Uigali. And the reason I gave him the game ball is strictly because he's the backup for Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think from after what we saw in that first half, I'll tell you, I did not think Clemson was going to win this game. I did not. We saw in the chat how people were talking about, yes, Clemson will come back in and win this. I was like, I don't see it, but he played great in the second half. He helped them come back and win. So, Vic, going back by what you said, yes, Uatali, I believe, was his last name, and I think I butchered that, and I'm sorry. The running back for Clemson, he did break the record in rushing. But if I had to give a game ball in this one, it would not be him, and I'm sorry. I know you want me to say it, but the only reason I'm saying I would go with the Clemson defense is because they made great adjustments in the second half, and they were able to come back and beat Boston College.
You disappoint me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the dude became the leading rusher of the ACC, not just his team, the ACC. And who did they lean on when they needed it? They leaned on him.
Yeah, I mean that all makes sense, and you both make good points. But let me also say that this is why sports are great, right? Because we can debate on who won the game, who made it better, who the game ball belongs going to. Like we can make that we can make that argument on both sides. And so that's why sports are great. Moving on, this is going to kind of answer Brandon Herrera's question to me. I always look at can it cost them the number one spot if they didn't play that well, and sometimes it can. I think you have to look at the number 2 team in the country, and that's Alabama. And being completely honest with you, Alabama throttled Mississippi State. They looked like they were a professional team playing a high school team. I'm sorry, but it was that bad. It was horrible. And could it cost Clemson their top spot? I think it could. And it doesn't matter that Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing. What do you think about that, Randy? Okay. Randy will get to us when he can. Vic.
Alabama put a licking on them, but you get it. Mississippi State. I mean, the only game they won is against LSU, and that was the first game of the season. Since then, they're 0-4. They're not a team that I expected to even put up a fight against Alabama. Alabama did what Alabama was supposed to do, which was beat a 1-3 team handily. Clemson, they went in without their starting quarterback, and it took them a half to get into the groove. And now the second half they found their groove. I don't think it's going to cost them the number one spot. I think Alabama's going to stay at number 2, where they should be, because Clemson persevered. I mean,
yeah, definitely. I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when the polls come out. So Ace, give us your analysis and your game ball for that one.
All right, so my analysis in this one, and it's just exactly like you said. Alabama came out and they throttled Mississippi State. If you remember at the beginning of the year, Mississippi State was ranked in the top 25. Everybody thought they were going to be a good team. This Mississippi State team has not showed me anything that they're the least bit impressive. Whenever Mississippi State this year has played a good team, they have absolutely gotten throttled and manhandled. So this team is not good at all. But I'm not taking away the fact that Alabama came out and dominated them. So when it comes to that, I know people will be like, look at Matt Jones. He played great. Yes, he did. He did play great. He threw 4 touchdowns. But I'm still not giving the game ball to Matt Jones. And here's why. Because the game ball, to me, actually goes to the Alabama receiver and Devontae Smith. How can you not give it to Devontae Smith? The dude had 11 catches for 203 yards, and he caught all 4 touchdowns. As a receiver, that's impressive.
I was hoping you were going to say that because I noticed that in the game, and I was like, how do we not give him the game ball tonight? Those numbers, those are, do you know there's only been one other, no, I guess there's been no, that's right. I remember there's been no other SEC wide receivers to ever score 4 touchdowns in a game. Mm-hmm. The last one that had 3 was,
I think it was Ridley.
I believe it was Ridley. You're right. That's where I was going with that. So, yes, Ridley was the last one, and now there's 4. Now we have someone who scored 4. So, hats off to them.
And so,
great.
Going back to what you're saying on that, so just because of the way Mississippi State has currently been, I will say that Alabama does not get the top spot. Clemson will stay there. I don't think you can take it away from Clemson because they won the game with a backup over Boston College. And Alabama, yes, they destroyed Mississippi State, but not a very impressive Mississippi State team. So Alabama stays at number 2.
Yeah, since they dropped 44 on LSU, they haven't scored more than 14 the past 4 games. So
yeah.
Yeah, they're not anything spectacular, and they should have got whooping.
Okay. Well, let's go to number 3, which is Ohio State. Now, Ohio State played Penn State. Penn State was ranked 18th coming into the game. I think maybe a closer game than I thought it was going to be because Penn State lost their first game, and I don't think they deserve to be ranked in the top 25. So 38-25, Ohio State was the ending, and that one was the final. Looks like Randy's back. We'll give him a chance to answer this one. So do you think Ohio State is going to end up at either 1 or 2 in the country by the end of the season?
No.
Okay. Simple answer. I'll take it.
No.
I'll take it.
It's because of the fact that they're not the greatest out there right now. In my opinion, I don't think they're the greatest. You got other teams that are greater than them, and so I don't think they will end up number 1 or 2.
Okay. Vic?
Ohio State, my nemesis. They looked really good. Penn State, I don't see how Penn State's ranked at this point after last week. I think the fact that there were no fans really played a huge part in this game. Penn State's defense, they rally behind the fans. They're energized by the fans, and without anybody there in their normal wideout game to like feed them energy, I still don't think they would have won, but I think it would have been a lot closer than what it was. But yeah, I don't think Penn State should be ranked before this game, and they're definitely not going to be ranked after this game.
So then follow-up question real quick. So then do you think that Ohio State should have beat them by more than what they did?
Yes.
Okay. Ace.
I agree with your analysis there, Vic. Ohio State should have came in and they should have beat Penn State by a lot more than what they were. To me, this Penn State team was very, very overhyped. I said at the very beginning of the season that it didn't matter that Penn State was originally ranked. They were originally ranked in the top 10. They were ranked at, I believe, it was number 8. And I don't understand how this Penn State team could even be ranked at number 8 at any time. This Penn State team has not looked good. They did not look good last week. They did not look good this week. And so if you're asking me, when I go back to my game ball again, Ace's game ball in this one, absolutely, I go to that bad man in Justin Fields. Even though the game has not ended yet, when the game was there, Justin Fields had already been at 318 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It actually is a final now, yeah.
Is it a final now? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, so he had 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Justin Fields is ranked up there with Trevor Lawrence, and everyone's saying, okay, which one's going to go first? Will it be Trevor Lawrence or will it be Justin Fields? I think the one thing that's going to hurt Trevor Lawrence right now in that top spot is because he got COVID. And so he's gonna lose a little bit of ground, maybe even in the Heisman race. This is gonna help Justin Fields in terms of that. Justin Fields this year has looked extremely good. I mean, really, really good. So to me right now, Justin Fields, I want to say the best quarterback in the nation, but it is that close. I mean, it's really, really close.
All right. So, I mean, there you have it. Fair enough on all that. And I can't disagree with any of you is what I meant, not agree. I can't disagree with any of you. Definitely some great analysis there. Number 4, Notre Dame. Now, number 4, Notre Dame was playing Georgia Tech. They won 31-13. Any thoughts on that game? We'll start with Ace this time. We'll let him give his game ball, and then we'll go to the other two. So, Ace, 31-13 against Georgia Tech. What you expected, not what you expected?
Yeah. Yet again, it's one of those games that when you look at Notre Dame, they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. So, people will put them up their higher rankings. I've said this week in and week out. Notre Dame always gets put, in the top 4 because everyone's like, this is a good team. And then what happens when they actually end up playing a good team? They get punched in the mouth. That's pretty much what ends up happening. So this 31-13 game, Notre Dame played good, not great. I feel like Notre Dame should have actually, if they're the number 4 team in the nation, they should have been able to beat a Georgia Tech team by more than 31-13. That's my analysis on that. But since I do have to give a game ball in this one, my game ball, and let's say this, there was nothing that really stuck out to be like, okay, this person was really that impressive. But if I had to give a game ball at this point, it would be Kyron Williams, which he had 15 carries, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. But on top of that, he had 2 catches for 24 yards. So he ended the game with 100 total yards. So my game ball is Kyron Williams, running back, Notre Dame.
All right.
Sounds good.
Vic.
Brandon, yes. I believe that is the truth. I always feel that Notre Dame's always a bit overranked, simply because they're Notre Dame. Like they have a foot in the door where they shouldn't have a foot in the door. I only think they're ranked this high because the other leagues took a while to get going and they started up early. Like Adam said, they should have beat Georgia State by Georgia State or Georgia Tech. I can't remember.
Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Georgia Tech. I didn't even know that was a college. They should have beat them handily, Notre Dame's I always feel that Notre Dame's overranked just because they're Notre Dame, because they have this mystical power over the coaches poll and the AP voters and everything. But when it comes to the big game, they can never, pull out the win. So.
Okay, Randy.
So since I'm up here, hold on. Brandon Herrera, just in case Brandon Herrera did not hear, he asked who got the game ball. And Brandon Herrera, if you want to know, I gave the game ball to Kyron Williams, running back for Notre Dame, because he had 76 yards on the ground and 24 yards receiving, but also added 2 scores. So that was my game ball.
Okay, so we lost Randy again. He's having some technical difficulties. Let's just move on. Let's go to Georgia. I think I'm gonna know where you're gonna go with the game ball on this. Not that any of them really deserved it. I'm gonna tell you, I was quite disgusted by this game. So, but they did win 14-3 against Kentucky.
Kentucky.
So, yeah, just start it, Vic.
I think Georgia's ranked higher than they should be. I don't think they're that good. I mean, you beat Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's a good team, but you beat them 14-3. When you're the number 5 team in the nation and you play an unranked team, you should at least, drop at least 30 on them. I mean, that's where you bottom out on that. I don't know how much faith I have in Georgia's quarterback, Stetson. I don't like Stetson. I don't think he's the guy that they need to have in there.
Yeah.
They didn't look good. It was I only caught highlights of the game because I was watching the Clemson game, but it didn't look pretty. And
All right, Ace. And what would your game ball and your analysis be on that one?
All right. Well, I'm going back to what you were saying there. And Brandon Herrera, I completely agree with you on that analysis. The fans who watched this game should get the game ball. That's how bad this game was. And J-Mac, I completely agree with you on this. This to me was this was brutal, man. I'm looking at this and I'm like, who the heck can I give the game ball to? I would say, Georgia's defense, but I don't even want to do that. I really don't want to do that. So if I really had to give a game ball to anybody, it'd be Zamir White. And the only reason I would give it to Zamir White is because he did have 26 carries for 136 yards, and he did get a touchdown. Other than that, though, I'll tell you this: I was not impressed with Georgia at all today. And I know, J-Mac, I know you said that they were going to be one of the best teams in the nation. But I'll tell you, they have not showed me much the last couple weeks. They're going to have to show me a heck of a lot more than what they have done if I'm going to even put them in the top 4. I'm going to have to see a heck of a lot more because right now I am not impressed with this team.
Yeah, JT Daniels needs to be put in. He needs to be the guy.
Yep. I don't agree. I don't disagree with that at all. But that brings me to number 6, Oklahoma State. Now, good news for Georgia is the number 6 team in the country lost.
Mm-hmm.
So no one's going to leapfrog you this week because no one behind you played well enough to get into that 5th spot. Not from way far down where they are. Cincinnati, I don't think, is going to be a top 5 team. It's just not going to happen for them. It's just not going to happen for them. I'm just saying. It's not happening for them. But Oklahoma State lost in overtime to Texas, 41-34. Now, we can go into the different reasons why they lost this game. One of them being that they stopped that bad man, Chuba Hubbard.
Exactly.
However, that's not the only reason they lost. If you watch this game, they had 5 turnovers. 5. Texas had 0. You turn over the ball 5 times and don't take away one from the other team, you're not going to win many games. So, Vic, what's your analysis on that?
Yeah, I think the backbreaker was that kickoff return for a touchdown, though. I think that's kind of got the momentum going in the Texas direction. Also, the roughing the punter. I mean, you had them, they punted the ball, and you just sometimes I wonder what these guys are thinking. I really do.
I mean, if you look at the replay, it doesn't look like it was an intentional thing, like he just blasted the punter.
Yeah, but you mean you think
he didn't? Yeah, he didn't stop in time. That's for sure.
I think you're barely holding on to a lead, and don't push the boat.
I mean, let's get this straight. Nobody intentionally blows up the punter because they know the consequence of it. So nobody's going to intentionally do that. Did it cost them this game? It very well could have. But Oklahoma State, it didn't matter. They should have won this game. And I told you this before. I said if you shut down Chuba Hubbard, you have a great chance of beating Oklahoma State. And they did that today. Now, minus the 5 turnovers, that was a big factor too. But Chuba Hubbard did not have his best game. I'll tell you that now. Did not. They shut him down. And with my game ball, I wonder if everybody knows where I'm going with this. My game ball goes to Sam Ehlinger, quarterback for Texas.
That's brutal.
It's brutal, and that's only because... And this is why. I understand the guy was 18 of 34, which is not good. 18 of 34 is not good. The completion percentage on that's terrible. He threw for 189 yards, but had 3 touchdowns. Other than that, if you look at this Texas team, nobody really on the offensive side really played all that well.
That was my point. Like,
yeah,
who are you going to give it to? But I do have to agree with Brandon Herrera if you look at his comment. There was one guy who stepped up. So, I don't know why we didn't pull that up, but there it is. Wallace had 11 catches for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I don't know. I just gave my game ball to Sam Ehlinger.
But you're not wrong. Like Texas, there was a lot of different guys who played good that you could have given it to.
Here's the thing, though. See, and I know why Brandon Herrera said it but now keep in mind, Wallace is not on Oklahoma he's on Oklahoma State. So, but I think he was confused in the aspect that when I give a game ball, I give it to the winning team. So even though Wallace played on Oklahoma State, I can't give it to him because they lost the game. That's why.
And that is totally your decision. They're your game balls. I was just pointing out a fact, but again, that's your time. Let's see, Randy, is all your stuff working now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it all works now.
Okay. So, what's your thoughts on Oklahoma State losing to Texas?
I missed that game.
Well, okay, that kind of takes care of that. Now, Cincinnati is number 7 in the country. Okay. And everyone, I know all of us have been like, what's the American Conference? Any teams from this actually got a shot at this thing? I can't say Cincinnati doesn't if they keep playing the way they did. I'll give you a little insight on that. They won 49-10 against Memphis. Memphis, by the way, has been steamrolled the last 2 weeks, and they've ran into some good teams because they've played SMU and Cincinnati in the last 2 weeks. So hats off to them for just hanging in there and even completing the games because that's not easy. Cincinnati also has allowed 12 points per game this year. 12. Think about that for a minute. So, Vic, give us your analysis on that. They've given up 12 points a game this year.
Their defense is ridiculous. I mean, defense wins championships. Offense wins games. So they have a great combination of both. As far as how far I think they'll go, I think by the end of the season they'll be in the high 20s. I don't think they're going to keep it up with, the ACC going now, the Big Ten going now, the Pac-12 coming next week. I think they're just going to get, even if they keep winning, they're just going to keep getting booted down, just like Coastal Carolina. I mean,
we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't ruin that surprise.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just saying that they're not in a tough conference, so it's kind of like UCF. I mean, they're not in a barn burner conference where they have, they play big teams every week and ranked teams every week. I mean, they're beating who they're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
But once everybody gets into play, it'll be interesting to see where they end up.
All right, Randy, does Cincinnati have what it takes to get in the top 4?
If their defense would step up, yes.
Okay. Ace?
So, Vic, I'm going to hit you with something on this.
Do it.
Because you're saying that Cincinnati Bearcats don't have enough. And here's what I'm saying. If you've seen Cincinnati Bearcats this year, they've already beaten 3 teams in the top 25 this season so far. 3 teams. This defense is phenomenal. They have a great defense. Their offense is no joke either. Do they have enough to make the top 4? No. They don't have enough to make the top 4, but they're going to finish, and this is my prediction with Cincinnati. They're going to finish in the top 15 at least. At least a top 15. That's how good I believe this Cincinnati team is. I feel like in a way that they're going to be disrespected in a way because of the conference. And let's see what Alex saying. Are Oklahoma State better than the Sooners this year? And my answer on that would be yes. So far, the way that Oklahoma State has looked, they are better than the Sooners.
Did you not watch the Sooner game today?
They had.
What about your game?
I'm not worried about one game. Okay, I'm not worried about that game. Don't be bringing up. Did you watch the game today? Yeah, I understand what happened today. I completely understand that. But
what about your game? What about your game ball there, Ace?
Yes, and now I will get to my game ball. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so my game ball actually goes to Jerome Ford, which is kind of funny. This dude had 9 carries in the game. 9 carries. But in those 9 carries, he had 116 yards on 9 carries. He had a 12.9 average.
Yeah.
I can do that in my sleep.
And he also scored 2 touchdowns. That is really impressive. 9 carries, 116 yards.
Okay, Randy. Randy,
Yes.
give us some analysis on that.
On the player
Analysis on
himself?
which part?
Yeah. Oh, you already talked on Cincinnati, didn't you? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Look at that. Well, Randy, what's your last word on Cincinnati? Yes or no? Top 4, top 15? Where do you think?
No. No, not top
even?
4.
Not top 4. Top 15, yes?
Top 15, yes.
Top 15, yes. Okay. So number 8, Texas A&M. Now, you're 8th in the country. You're coming in against an Arkansas team that hasn't won a Big 12 game in, are we talking 4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And you barely beat them by 11. What's up with Texas A&M? Ace, lead us off.
Man, Texas A&M is one of those teams that kind of remind me of a Jekyll and Hyde team. It's one of those, yeah, but, because people want to rank them up there. You'll see them play really good one week, and then the next week they come out and they play bad. And today, yeah, they won, but come on. It's like you said, they won by 11 against an Arkansas team. So tell me, how impressive really is that? That's not really impressive to me. Is that an eighth ranked team? Absolutely not. So don't be surprised if there's actually teams that leapfrog them into that number 8 seed because of how I would say bad they look today. But when I give out my game ball actually goes to a guy by the name of Kellen Moore. 21 of 26, 260 yards, and 3 touchdowns. My game ball, Kellen Moore.
All right, Randy. Texas A&M, do they deserve to be in the 8th spot?
No.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, Vic.
Hey, J-Mac.
Texas A&M's an 8th team in the country, and they gave up 31 to Arkansas.
No. I mean, you had a 42-17 lead going into the 4th quarter. And you won 42-31. So you got shut out in the 4th quarter. That's not how a number 8 seed plays.
But could that be because they're playing a prevent defense and they're giving up some touchdowns?
Don't spoil my meanness.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Don't do that.
I apologize. I won't do that again, Vic. I'm sorry.
So I want to touch on this really quick because Tanner McLean said, not sure if I should be impressed by Kentucky or disappointed in Georgia. And Tanner, I'm glad that you're commenting. But the one thing I do want to say on this is that you should be really disappointed in Georgia. Don't be impressed by Kentucky in any form or any way because that's not Kentucky. Georgia just flat out played horrible today. They played horrible last week also. So you should be very disappointed with how Georgia has played so far.
And Brandon Herrera, yes, some of these teams are driven by crowd noise. Absolutely. Yeah. If you've ever been to a college football game, these teams thrive on this. I mean, I've been to Austin for Oregon, and it's absolute. Oh my goodness! I don't know how crazy. I don't know how those teams hear anything their coaches are saying, anything, because the further you go down in the bowl, the worse it gets. And so
I tell you, I was there in the Civil War when Marcus threw the touchdown to Josh Huff.
Yeah.
In the end zone with like a minute to go. And my friend was sitting right next to me, and it was so loud I could not hear what she was saying. It was ridiculous. It's crazy. It's
ridiculous. And LSU's one of those teams. They just thrive off that noise. A lot of SEC teams. Yeah. So definitely. Yeah. Good question, Brandon Herrera. Keep them coming. So then we go to number 9, Wisconsin. It was postponed due to COVID. There's not much to say on it.
22 cases of COVID. 22
cases of COVID. They're college guys. I mean, come on. It's going to be really, really hard. to keep college kids away from spreading COVID to each other. Probably more than one way, but that's a different show. So
That's a whole different show.
then we got at number 10, we got Florida. They beat Missouri 41-17. Handily 41-17. Let me ask you, Randy, Missouri, are they the worst? Are they the worst team in that conference?
Yeah, I believe so. They really need to step everything up in order to, be a better team. That's all I got.
Yeah, Vic. Is Florida going to make it in the top 4?
Wow, that's a good one. I do want to say I don't believe that Missouri is the worst team in the conference. I'm going to give that to Vanderbilt or Mississippi State.
Thank you.
One of those two. Probably Mississippi State.
Vandy.
But Florida's up and down. They're hyped by it's the crowd noise helps them. I think they feed off of that a little bit. They're too high and low for me. I mean, they got Georgia next week, which if Georgia starts JT Daniels, then it might be a whole different story. But I mean, their schedule's not that tough coming up. They don't play another ranked opponent after Georgia currently, so they're not going to be in the top 4 because they got the one loss. But I think they'll be top 10 at least. If they beat Georgia next week, they'll definitely be top 10 at the end of the year.
Okay, Ace.
So going off that, I think it's going to be hard for Florida to get in the top 4. I think that a lot is going to have to happen in order for them to get up there. Do I believe that Florida's a good team? Absolutely. I do believe that Florida is a good team. And the one thing I do want to say about Florida is I do believe that Kyle Trask, the quarterback for Florida, is completely underrated. I truly feel like this guy is top 3 or 4 in terms of quarterback in the nation. This guy has the intangibles. He's really, really good, and he actually ended up getting my game ball again today. Because Kyle Trask actually threw for 345 yards and 4 touchdowns. And yes, thank you, Tanner. I completely agree with you. Vandy is the doormat of that conference. Vandy has been the doormat of that conference for a while. Is Missouri a lot better? Heck no. They're right there too, but Vandy is the doormat in that conference.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 11, BYU. We won't spend a whole lot of time on them because that game's not over yet, and because, there's not a lot to say about BYU. So right now they're winning 35-3. They're expected to win this game. I don't really think there's a whole lot to talk about. We'll go number 12, Miami. Number 12, Miami was idle this week. So there's nothing to talk about there. They'll probably move up a couple spots just because of the way teams played in front of them. Number 13, Michigan. I've been waiting for this one all day. I've been waiting to talk about this one.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with Jim Harbaugh? He cannot beat Michigan State, and he cannot beat Ohio State. They are like his kryptonite. Every other team, every other opponent, he is 29-0 against at home. And Michigan State and Ohio State, he is 1-6 against at home. Any thoughts on that, Randy?
He's got to figure out where his downfall is with those teams. He's got to figure it out and work on those, work on it. I mean, that's the only thing he can do.
Vic, you want to take off from that?
He can't win the big games. He can't win them, even going to his pro career. I mean, couldn't win the Super Bowl. That's why he went to Michigan. He didn't win anything big at Stanford when he was there. So I think it's in his head. I think he goes into it thinking this is the year we might beat them. But he always comes up a little bit short. I think he's cursed. I'm going to go with cursed.
Okay, Ace?
So I'm going back because I think Freddie asked the question when it said no game ball, and
He meant for BYU, but the game's not over yet.
Okay, yeah, for BYU. Okay, I was trying to figure out what he was saying on that one. Okay, so we're talking about Michigan and Michigan State. Jim Harbaugh came to Michigan because they all thought that Jim Harbaugh was going to be the answer. He was going to make Michigan that true competitor, was going to get them in the top 4. I haven't seen that since Jim Harbaugh has been there. They've had what I would call decent years, but they haven't been that dominant team to get in the top 4. I don't know what it is. They beat the teams that they're supposed to, but then they play teams like Michigan State and Ohio State and stuff that you're like, what is this? I don't understand. How can they not beat those teams? He struggles against them.
Yeah, and Tanner, Tanner's got a point though. They're rivalry games, so
they are.
Anything goes.
But my game ball in this one actually goes to Ricky White in this one.
Ricky!
Because he had 8 catches, 196 yards, and a touchdown. So that's actually my game ball.
Okay. So then we got number 14, Oregon, who was idle once more, but they play next week against Stanford. So this will be a completely different conversation next week. Completely different. It's going to go one of two. It's going to go one of two ways for sure. Number 15
hopefully the happy way.
Number 15 was North Carolina, and now I remember last week. Okay, last week we said that North Carolina is a what school? They are a basketball school, and we know that they're not a football school. Well, they proved that they're a basketball school today because they lost to another basketball school in football today. So they lost 44-41 to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your thoughts on that, Ace, because quite honestly, that makes me want to throw up.
Well, we said this. I believe we said this. It was like two weeks ago. We said when North Carolina was ranked in the top 8, they were ranked in the top 8, and we're like, really? How long can North Carolina stay ranked in the top 8 when we all know that North Carolina is known strictly for basketball? They're not known as a football school. And this tonight shows you why North Carolina never should have been in the top 8 to even begin with. Not even relatively close. And this is why. Because they come out and they play teams like Virginia and then they lose, and it's a game that they should have won. So yeah. I'm highly disappointed in how North Carolina played. Very disappointed. My game ball in this one goes to Brennan Armstrong. He was 12 of 22, 208 yards and three touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but
it happens.
Yeah.
Vic, go ahead.
It happens.
It does. It happens.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, North Carolina, they're starting the decline. It's North Carolina. It's basketball school. I mean, you're just a placeholder till the real teams start playing this year.
Randy?
Yeah, I don't see him improving at all. No way.
Okay. Number 16, Kansas State. We had another one I wanted to talk about. How do you lose to – okay, first off, how do you lose to West Virginia when you're ranked 16th in the country? I guess if you're Kansas State, you can figure it out. And how do you lose 37-10? I think that's the worst part. Not that you lost. You got decimated. And it wasn't even close. It wasn't even that close in the game.
They were tied at 3 at one point.
Yeah, yeah. So, Vic, give me your thoughts on that. 37-10.
It's just embarrassing. I mean, West Virginia is not the most outstanding team, but they're 4-2, 3-2 in the Big 12. So, I mean, they're not like 0-5 or 0-6. So, but yeah, Kansas State, just another case of just being a placeholder till all these other teams get going. I mean, they're not anything spectacular, since I don't know. I don't think they're just going to drop out of the top 25. They might play spoiler later in the year because that's just sometimes how it works.
Yeah.
Who do they? I mean, they play what? They play OK State on next week. OK State's going to be out for some revenge.
Mhm.
Kansas State's going to get destroyed
Yeah.
next week. I can
Then
guarantee.
they got Iowa, and then they got Baylor, and then Texas. I mean, I don't see them winning the next 4. I see them just losing
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Randy.
What?
Birth to Randy?
No, I'm listening.
Kansas State, man. What's up with Kansas State?
I think that they pretty much fell asleep. They're terrible. They shouldn't be in the top 25. And I mean, I agree. They're just hanging in there until the better teams come along and knock them out of the 25.
All right. And we defer to Ace.
Kansas
Now let's
State.
just in game ball.
Kansas State, man, I'll tell you what. I kind of have a soft spot for him. And J-Mac, you probably know where I'm coming from with this. Because when you think of Kansas State, you think of Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have a soft spot for them, honestly. And so when it comes to Kansas State, I really so badly wanted them to be in the top 25. I really did. I wanted them to be that better team. But how do you come in and you lose this bad? And I don't mean lose, I mean you lose bad.
Yeah.
You don't even put up a fight. That's how disappointing this actually was. So, Kansas State, the way they look today, they're not even a top 25 team.
Yeah,
So
you got a game ball for us?
Yeah, my game ball in this one actually goes to Laddie Brown. He had 24 carries, 102 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Okay. Good job, Laddie. Good game. Game ball from the Sports Minute.
Woo!
All right. Okay. Now, number 17. Now, this is interesting because I'm going to tell you, I said last week that this team, I laughed when they were in the top 25. I'll eat some crow. I'll eat some humble pie on this one. If we got that humble pie, let's throw it up on the screen, by the way. But I'm saying I'll eat that humble pie. And I'll tell you why, is because I said there's no way Indiana should be sniffing the top 25. Indiana won today, 37-21. They're 2-0. And I get it was against Rutgers. I know what you're going to say, Ace. I understand. But looking at some of the other teams that we've given analysis on that are on the top 25, is Indiana a legit team? And Ace, I'll start with you because I know you're chomping at the bit to get going.
I was chomping at the bit at this one because you knew exactly where I was going from. When you said Indiana won, I'm like, yes, they beat Rutgers. And is there teams, most of the teams that are in the top 25 right now are better than Indiana. I'm not ready to even say that Indiana's a top 20. I don't care that they're 2-0. I don't even care about that. I'm not ready to put them in the top 25. I need to see a little bit more. I want to see them play some really good teams and see how they do. If they can come out and beat really good teams,
I believe they play Michigan next week.
Yeah.
But hold on here. Hold on, because now we don't want to hype up Michigan too much and say that they're a good team. They're on paper they're better than Indiana. So if Michigan comes out and loses to Indiana, then I'll be like, okay, Indiana belongs in the top 25. Right now, I still don't believe they belong in the top 25. The one crazy aspect in this game, and I don't know if you guys saw, that crazy lateral kickoff, that was insane. There was like 6 laterals on that kickoff that Rutgers was able to score on. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah. Game ball?
Yeah, my game ball in this one was Michael Penix Jr. He went 17 of 26, 238 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Randy, is Indiana legit?
No. Not enough wins to prove that they are legit.
Okay. Vic?
Indiana falls into the same category as North Carolina. They're a basketball school. They've peaked. I mean, because next week they got Michigan. Then after that they got Michigan State. Then they got Ohio State. And then in December 5th, they got Wisconsin. I see it maybe winning one of their next 6 games. Yeah, they're not gonna end up ranked. They're gonna be out of the top 25 in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Number 18 was Penn State. We know they lost. They'll be out of the top 25 this week. I don't think there's any doubt. Number 19 was Marshall. Their game got postponed. We'll see if they make it up or not. They may end up canceling it. Coastal Carolina. Vic brought this team up earlier. They are number 20 in the country.
Oof.
And guess what? They beat Georgia State 52-0. Now, Georgia State, let's face it, probably shouldn't even be a Division I school, but they beat them 52-0. So we have to give them some kind of props for putting up 52 points. Randy?
I got nothing. I mean, that's wow.
Vic?
Yeah, 50, I think it was 51-0.
Excuse me, 51, you're correct.
That's a lot of points. But then again, it was against Georgia State, who, Georgia State.
Right.
Their next 5 games are like USA and Troy and Appalachian and Texas State and Liberty. I mean, who are these guys?
Right.
What are the Coastal Carolina Chancellors? Chanticleers? What the heck is that?
I don't know.
What is a Chanticleer? I gotta
don't
Google
know.
that now.
I thought Chanticleer was on like a cartoon back in the 90s.
Yes, Rockadoodle.
That's it. That's where we've heard that
Rockadoodle.
before. Okay, Ace, go ahead. Give us your game ball.
All right. Well, first off, Coastal Carolina is not going to be in the top 25 for much longer. I understand that they put a beat down on Georgia State. I mean, that was a complete and utter beat down. Okay, so there's not even much to talk about in this game. But so Grayson McCall was actually had the game ball in this one. He had 254 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Tanner actually asked the question of, he's been dying to ask this, saying, does Georgia beat Florida next week? And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say no. I actually believe that the way Georgia's been playing, I believe that Florida is able to beat Georgia.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing really quick?
Yes.
I Googled a Chanticleer, and it is a name given to a rooster, especially in fairy tales.
Yeah, and that's why.
We had it right. We were right. That is
Yes.
Rockadoodle from the 90s. His
Rockadoodle.
name is Chanticleer because he
Yes,
is a
Rockadoodle.
rooster.
Yep.
Yes, Rockadoodle.
Yes. Okay. So we had that one. You heard it first here on the Sports Minute on the ASAP Network. You heard it. Okay.
We are educational as well as sports.
Yes.
brilliance.
Educational. You got it. Number 21, USC. They haven't played yet. We'll see where they end up. Number 22, SMU. It was 51-37 in the end against Navy, but let's face it, they destroyed Navy. It wasn't even that close as the score indicated.
Yeah. And it was Navy. I mean,
So go ahead and start with that one, Randy. But yeah, SMU beat Navy 51-37. Any thoughts on where SMU is going to end up?
They'll probably end up in the top 20, but that's as far as I'll get them.
Ace?
SMU is one of those teams that they're a good team, but they don't really play those top schools to prove how good that they can actually be. So they'll end up maybe as I'm not going to put them in the top 15. I'll put them in the top 20 because they've looked good enough to be in the top 20. And they're that team that you have to put a little bit of respect on their name because it's SMU and they have looked good this year so far, but they don't really have any really legitimate competition. So my game ball in this one, though, goes to actually the quarterback in Shane Buchel, which is he threw for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. SMU.
Yep. Vic, finish us out on the SMU thing.
SMU, they're all right. But again, it was Navy. And whoa, what's that all about? Unlimited double miles. Navy actually threw the ball 30 times, which I find big because they're normally an option run only team. But yeah, it was Navy. I mean, the only game Navy gets amped up for is when they play Army. So I wouldn't read too much into the win. We'll see when they play some other teams going forward.
So next team actually is Iowa State. And I will tell you that I have been high on this team in the last couple weeks. And there's a reason why. Now today they come out now they played Kansas today. So today does not count. I am the first one to admit that Kansas is horrible. Like we could probably go out and beat Kansas, honestly.
I think they played Kentucky.
No, Kentucky. Georgia played Kentucky. They played Kansas today. Iowa State did.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I had that backwards. You're right.
So Iowa State. However, they did beat Kansas like they were supposed to. They beat them 52-22.
Right? Yeah.
So Iowa State's now at 4-2. Are they a legit team to get in the top 15 by the end of the season, Ace?
Top 15, yes. Top 10, no. But like you said, you have been high on this team all year. But, okay. Can we safely say the Gophers will not get a sniff of the top 25? No, they won't.
They won't.
They haven't looked good the last 2 weeks at all. But going back to this, yes, they will be top. I'll say top 20. My game ball in this one actually goes to Breece Hall. He had 21 carries, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Randy, Iowa State, legit for the top 15?
Yes.
Vic?
No. I mean, they got some, they got 2 games coming up against Kansas State and Texas. I see Texas is an upward swing now with that big win over Oklahoma State. So I don't think they win either of those 2 games, and that drops them out of the top 25.
Okay. Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma won today by a lot. I believe the final was 62-28. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think it was 62-28. Oklahoma came out and just drubbed. I mean, they just ran away with that game. So, Ace, we'll start with you, the game ball, and we'll move down.
People talked about how Oklahoma ran away with the game today, but keep in mind, Texas Tech. How many times do I need to say it? Is Texas Tech good? No, they're not. So that's why when it goes back to Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma State's better. So what? Oklahoma won today. I don't care. It was against a Texas Tech team. Are they a top 15 team? Yes. At the beginning of the season, I said that they were going to be in the top 4, but no, they're not. They're not going to be top 15. But my game ball in this one actually goes to Shane Rattler. There really wasn't much to, huh?
Spencer Rattler.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry, I wrote that down wrong. You're right. But yeah, because there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about this when you see it, because Oklahoma just steamrolled Texas Tech, and actually the score was 55-21.
Yes, excuse me.
No, the final was 62-28.
Well, okay, so yeah, it just keeps rolling up here on the side of my screen, like people relieving the scores in the game. So
yeah, it was 62-28.
Yes,
J-Mac was right. Yeah,
60. They said
68. No, 62-28.
Yeah, 62-28. Okay.
Unless ESPN lies to me.
So we only got a couple more minutes to spend on college football. So real quick, Randy, Oklahoma gonna end up somewhere near the top 10? No. Yes or no?
No.
Vic, yes or no?
No, but Spencer Rattler scares me with that hair and eyeball, so he might be cursed. I don't know. He might be. He
All right.
might be. He might be a witch. I don't know.
What's with you
I
and
don't
hair?
I don't know what's with her and hair. I think we're gonna have to figure that one out. Okay, 25 Boise State. They beat who was it that they played?
Air Force.
Air Force. Yep, that's who it is. They beat them 49-30. So real quick, Vic, we got less than 3 minutes to get through the rest of this. Boise State 25. Are they going to move up in the polls, or are they going to stay in top 25 by the end of the season?
I hate everything Boise State, so I hope they lose every game going forward and they end up at 180,002.
Randy?
Same. Don't like them.
All right, this has gone really quick. Ace.
I'll just tell you, my game ball in this one was yards and 3 touchdowns. It's Boise. What?
Apparently it's a clap. Anyway, okay. So that ends our college football segment. Let me ask you guys again. Now, what do you got to do?
I'm back
to get to that. What do you got to do to get that free T-shirt?
You gotta comment.
All you have to do is comment.
Talk sports with us.
And
a lot.
Now, if I don't win that free one, Vic, what does it cost for me to buy one?
It costs $25. That is a bargain, plus shipping and handling. But still a bargain, because it is a stylish T-shirt.
It looks really nice.
All right. So we're gonna roll. Buy it. One last thing on college football. This is the last thing I wanted to say. I just wanted to point out one game. Auburn 48, LSU 11. LSU is the first national championship team since 1991 to be under 500 this many weeks into the season.
So bad.
So, just going to say that. Throw that out there as the last thing.
No.
Okay.
$25 plus shipping and handling.
So, yeah, about $29.99. That sounds about right. Okay, so we're going to go. Now, we're going to try to make this as quick as we can on these NFL picks. Let's just go game by game. Let's say who we're picking and reasons why. So we'll go with the first game is New England against Buffalo. So we'll start out. We'll go Vic, Randy, Ace. So and then I'll throw mine at the end. So who do you got, Vic? Buffalo or New England?
I hate both of them, but I hate Cam Newton more. I'm going Buffalo.
Randy?
Buffalo. Cam Newton sucks.
Yeah.
Ace?
Obviously I got to go with Buffalo in this one. Cam Newton struggling. This year he's looking really, really bad.
All right, and I also go Buffalo.
It's the hair.
That one was a 4-0 sweep there. Next game we got is the Los Angeles Raiders. Not Raiders, Rams, excuse me. I'm going to do that a couple more times, by the way. It's really hard to call them Las Vegas at this point. The Los Angeles Rams against the Miami Dolphins. Then we'll go opposite this time. We'll start with Ace.
All right, so this I would have picked the Dolphins before, but because they benched my boy and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Rams because the Dolphins made me mad. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the Rams are gonna win this game.
Randy?
Dolphins.
Vic?
2 a time.
I'd like Tua time, but I think Aaron Donald's going to introduce Mr. Tua to the turf a couple times, so I'm going Rams.
And I, as well, am going Rams in this game. So, pretty unanimous there, except Randy.
Randy's the outcast.
Now we probably have the game of the morning, which is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. So let's actually start with Randy on this one. Who's winning this one, Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
Steelers.
He's got the Steelers. Vic, who do you got?
After watching the Steelers kind of decline last week, I'm gonna go Baltimore. I think Lamar's gonna run it up.
Ace?
Thank you. I'm not going to say that the Ravens are going to run it up, But I will say
I didn't say Ravens. I said Lamar.
Okay, well, still the Ravens, Lamar. Okay, but still, I'm gonna go with the Ravens because this is where I said the Steelers were gonna get their first loss, anyways. So I'm gonna go
Okay.
with Pittsburgh or with Baltimore.
Well, I'm rolling the dice, and I'm saying that the Steelers are going to win this game. Kind of crazy, yeah, I know. Anyway, next game we got Tennessee against Cincinnati. So we'll start with Ace on this one.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but Cincinnati, for some reason in this game, is rolling out one of the worst offensive lines I have ever seen in my life. Joe Burrow in this game is going to be running for his life. So, and Tennessee is one of the top-ranked teams in the AFC. So, obviously, I got to go with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Vic?
I will never pick Tennessee. I'm going Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow.
Randy.
Cincinnati.
What?
And
Randy,
I got to
quit
go
copying me.
I got to go Titans.
Hey, Randy, you want to make another bet on that? Randy, you want to make another bet on that?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on. We got Las Vegas against Cleveland.
Oh.
We'll start with Randy on this one. So he can't copy Vic this time.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
You son of a bitch.
Raiders have been terrible.
All right. Ace.
Oh, this to me was really hard because you know how the Raiders have been. They've been one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams too. They beat a couple of good teams, then they lost other teams that they should beat. But this one was difficult, and man, this one, let me look to. I want to make sure that I tell you correctly who I chose in this game, and for this one, I actually did go. I went with the Raiders in this one.
Vic.
Oh, is Adam done? I was falling asleep there.
Yes, I'm done.
I am going Cleveland if Mariota doesn't play. Raiders if Mariota plays.
I think you have the same contingency every week.
Yes,
I gotta
every
look back
week.
at the archives, but I think it's the same thing
Yeah,
every week.
Every week it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going with the Raiders.
I'm consistent.
I'm going with the Raiders because I don't know. I picked the Raiders 2 weeks in a row, and I don't normally do that. And I'm sure Ace right now is like, what?
Yeah,
So-
that's what I was gonna say. Mark this on your calendar because
Mark it on your calendar. I don't pick the Raiders, but I'm picking them this week. So now we got. Do we really have to pick this game? This next game. I think I know where we're all going. We should all just say it at the same time. We have the New York Jets against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jesus. The better question on this game, would be over under. Does the Jets keep this game within 25 points? That would be the better question.
So, any surprises? Is everyone going Chiefs, or do we have any surprises?
I am.
Jets for the upset.
Wow. Okay.
And Brandon Herrera is saying
it's got to happen.
Chiefs by 100.
Why not this week?
Brandon Herrera just said Chiefs by 100.
You know what though? Will the Jets keep it within 25? I don't know.
I don't know.
If I keep picking the Jets, they're gonna win one eventually.
All
But
right.
why pick them against the Chiefs? Come on.
Okay, yeah, let's just move on.
I'm being consistent again.
Did you hear the New York Jets dressed up for Halloween today? They dressed up like an NFL football team. So next we go Indianapolis against Detroit.
Ooh.
We'll start with Vic on this one.
I lost my pen. Wow. I go Detroit.
Ace?
Yeah, this one for me was actually hard because Indy does have one of the best defenses in football. Detroit has looked better the last couple weeks, but I'm still going to go with the Colts in this one.
Randy?
This is a hard one. Colts.
And I go Indy. So that's where we're at with that game. We got the last morning game tomorrow. Is Green Bay and Minnesota. So we'll go Ace first on this one.
Really?
Do we even really need to go there?
I think you know where I'm going with this one. I'm going with that bad man and Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. Randy?
This is a tough one, but I have to pick the Packers for a reason.
Because your boss is right above you.
Mm-hmm. And
Vic.
Any other day I'd go against the Packers, but I mean Kirk Cousins sucks. So I'm going Green Bay.
And I think we all know where I'm going, so I'm definitely going Green Bay. So, you know, I was going to dress up as a Vikings fan today, but I didn't want anyone to have to do the Heimlich when I choked. So,
You know what? So I actually wanted to. So Brandon Herrera actually said that Packers blow out the Vikings, and then the Vikings will start selling, and then they maybe fire Mike Zimmer. And here's what I'm kind of hoping that either the Vikings fire Mike Zimmer or the Broncos fire Vic Fangio. So then that way Green Bay will fire Mike Pettin, and then we can either hire Mike Zimmer as the DC or Vic Fangio as the DC.
okay. Well, we'll see.
Maybe they'll hire Mike McCarthy as the DC.
No,
Oh, God.
no, oh,
Please do not get it. Why do you do this, Vic? Why do you get him started on Mike McCarthy? Please. We don't have time for this. Okay. We're moving on.
All
We are
right.
moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers against the Denver Broncos. And we're going to start with Randy on this one.
Chargers.
Vic?
Really? You even have to ask me?
No, I don't have to ask.
Herbie is going to throw for 300, 3 touchdowns, Chargers all the way.
Ace?
Chargers.
And I got the Chargers. And I don't know if we all noticed that we all picked the Chargers when the Broncos the other team, and our producer behind the scenes is a huge Broncos fan. So Nate,
He even picks the Chargers.
Nate, we know you're picking the Chargers too. So
Because it's a home game for the Broncos, so we picked the Chargers.
yeah. So then the second afternoon game, we have New Orleans against Chicago. And I'll start with Ace on this one, but I already know where he's going. So,
Well, no, this might actually surprise you, and the only reason I'm saying this might surprise you is because the Saints are without Sanders, the Saints are without Mike Thomas, the Saints are also without Callaway, the Saints are without 3 of their top receivers in this game. They're running out of people to throw to. Really, the only person left they have is pretty much Alvin Kamara and Jared Cook.
Nope.
That's pretty much it. But with that being said, I am going to make a surprise pick for you, J Mac, and I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints.
yeah. All right, Vic, you're up.
Adam, or Ace, I'm sorry, was incorrect. The Saints have former Penn State, former Oregon wide receiver Juwan Johnson, who will be playing in his first NFL or second NFL game. He is a beast, and he just needed an opportunity to show what he's got. So that is another tool in the box for Drew Brees. I'm going Saints.
I have to see it.
Okay.
I watched his college career. I can vouch for him. Okay.
So you're saying Saints?
Saints.
Randy.
Saints.
Okay, and I also have the Saints. So going for a clean sweep there. San Francisco and Seattle is the next game. And we'll start with Vic.
Go Hawks. They're going to rebound. They're going to be angry. Russell's going to prove why he's the MVP this year. There shouldn't even be a vote. There should not even be a question. It should just be handed to him at the end of the year.
Ace.
San Francisco's banged up. The only problem is with Seahawks is they're not sure what they're going to be healthy with in the running back side. That's the only thing that's going to be hurting them. But with that being said, Seattle's going to bounce back, and I got to go with Seattle.
Randy.
Seattle.
Okay. And I'm going Seattle. I don't think they're going to lose to San Francisco. So, oh, man, the Sunday night game. This game is essentially for first place in the NFC East, or should we say the NFC least. We got the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Can anyone pronounce the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback's last name?
Danichi.
Yes, that's who's starting for them. Let me also just say that, Randy, I'm going to tell you what I tell you every year. You should pick the Cowboys to be your pallbearers so that they can let you down just one last time. Now we'll go ahead and give this one to Randy because it's his team, and I want to hear his pick in this game.
Yeah, I choose Dallas.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Shocker. Oh, I'm having a heart attack. I couldn't believe that one.
I won't. Right now, I'll tell you this. If it was
It's ride or die.
Almost any other team, I would probably pick them right at this moment, but I will not choose the Eagles.
Okay, you will not choose the Eagles. Okay.
By the way, I have to tell you, our producer Nate told us that he just sent something in and said that the Eagles are going to win 3-0 as overtime expires.
So, Randy, right before I make my pick, I want to know how it feels for your Dallas Cowboys to lose to a football team that doesn't have a name. There you go.
Okay. So go ahead and make your pick, Ace.
I'm going with the Eagles in this one.
Vic?
Eagles.
And I got the Eagles. So
do we really even? I'm gonna say when it comes around to the Monday night game, is that really even a thing? I mean, come on, it's the freaking Bucks against the Giants.
It's the Buccaneers against the Giants.
Is that really gonna even be a game?
Oh yeah, I think it's got to be a game. But we'll go with Vic first.
Giants.
That's a joke, right?
Randy?
Do I
Giants.
look like I'm laughing?
Randy just took the Giants. What the heck is going on
did.
here?
Why are you copying me, Randy? Stop it.
He did.
I hate Tom Brady. I hate him.
There we go. And there it is. I will
Ace,
never pick Tom Brady
Ace, who you got?
unless he's playing Aaron Rodgers.
Ace, who you got? Okay, well, I got the Bucks.
Are you on mute, Ace?
So anyways,
there we go.
The thing is, we all know that I don't like Brady anyways, but come on, man, this Giants team is horrible. So if you don't think the Bucks team can beat this Giants team, that's freaking crazy. Because the Bucks are going to steamroll the Giants.
Stranger things have happened.
I will not go for Brady.
So I got the Bucks as well.
Yeah, unless Tom Brady's playing Aaron Rodgers, I always vote against Tom Brady.
So that's our picks for Week 8 in the NFL. We also want to remember that the Atlanta Falcons won on Thursday night against Carolina Panthers, 25-17. They finally held on to lead. They're now 2-1 with Raheem Morris as their coach. So a shout out to the ATL and Raheem Morris for finally completing a game going 4 quarters.
Now, I don't know how many people actually
playing
knew
a full 60. Yeah.
But Raheem Morris was actually a sought-after coach. That people were like, hey, we want to interview him as the head coach. So that's why when the Falcons were like, hey, we're going to put him as the interim coach, I'm like, don't be surprised if the Falcons decide to stick with him after this season.
And Brandon Herrera, let me ask that question. That's how we'll end the show tonight. I think that's a great question to end the show. Do you guys see any major trades happening by the trade deadline, which is November 3rd, which is Tuesday? So
Yes.
Vic, enlighten us. What trade do you see happening? You got anyone in particular?
I think Cleveland's going to trade for a receiver. I don't know who, but they need to replace Odell. And I think Fitz is traded as well.
Mm-hmm.
Out of
Okay,
Miami.
Ace.
So, and Vic, I do agree with you on that receiver part. There actually is a rumor going around right now that the Browns are actually in trade talks with the Minnesota Vikings. And it's right there. Okay,
Oh, look at
they're
that.
actually in trade talks with the Vikings for Adam Thielen. So
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's actually been going around for actually a couple days. There's actually a trade talk going around that the Packers are trying to trade the Texans for Will Fuller also.
Or Randall Cobb.
Yes, or Cobb. They were trying to get him also. We actually had a few trades happen already that we've seen. And if I had to make a guess right now, with what Vic was saying with Ryan Fitzpatrick, I could see Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Randy's probably not going to like this at all, but I could actually see, for some reason, I could see Dallas actually going out and trading for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The Amish rifle.
I could actually see that. I actually would truly believe that he would make that Dallas team better.
They're not going to get a lot for him, but I mean, Dallas ain't going to give a lot for a place, a doorstop. And that's all, placeholder. That's what he'd be.
But he's got to be a better placeholder than Andy Dalton.
Oh, and
or Dianuccio.
And there's been a couple teams in trade talks with the Eagles for Zach Ertz too.
Okay. Well, Randy, you got any insight on that? You think any big trades happen?
Just what Ace had said. That's all I heard.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we got about 4 minutes left. So I'll give each one of you 3 minutes or 1 minute, and then we can wrap up the show. So Vic, you got 1 minute. Say whatever you want to say.
4:30 Saturday, November 7th, ABC. My boys, my Ducks, kickoff at home against Stanford. And it's going to be awesome. Go Ducks.
All right.
All I got.
Ace, 1 minute.
All right, 1 minute. Well, first off, I want to thank all of our fans out there for coming on and watching Sportsminute. We really enjoy it when you guys come on and watch it and even comment. We actually had some more people commenting tonight, which was absolutely great. That was spectacular. I loved it. And I really wish to see everybody again on Wednesday for Sportsminute and then again on Saturday. And tomorrow, you'll actually get to see the Vic on Sunday morning on the pregame.
I promise not to throw up on you.
And it'll be great.
All right, Randy, 1 minute.
All right, I have to thank you guys for letting me back on here. I hope to, show up more often, and it's fun.
I didn't have a vote.
And by the way, go Cowboys.
Oh,
you had to end it.
Randy, I applaud your ride or die. I do. I applaud your ride or die.
And before we leave here, I actually want to do this really quick. We would like to thank Nate. Thank you for producing the show.
Thank you, buddy.
So thank you, Nate the Great, for producing the show. And I really hope everybody has a great night. Nate, any final thoughts?
I hope the Broncos do well on Sunday, but really excited for BYU right now because they play Western Kentucky and they're destroying them by 25 points.
All right. Well,
after review, the Broncos lose by 30.
That was nice while it lasted for Nate to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hey, no, seriously, guys. Thanks for we could not do this without you guys as the viewers, and we really appreciate every opportunity you've given us. This is a lifelong dream for most of us, and so from the ASAP Network, we truly appreciate every single one of you. We come on here, we love doing this, and we couldn't do it without you. Randy, my friend, thanks, man. You always make the show entertaining. You always got some good stuff to throw on there. We appreciate you being on. And Nate, my brother, we couldn't do it without you. We could not do this without you, man. So you keep this show running. You keep this network going. So you're a heck of a producer, and we all appreciate you. But with that, we're gonna we are going to say goodnight to y'all from the ASAP Sports Minute, and we hope y'all tune in to the next show. We'll see Vic in the morning, and we out.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.